Okay, if you have not seen Ghostbusters Afterlife, switch this video off right now because there are going to be spoilers. Done? Okay, good. Right, Ghostbusters Afterlife. Wow! What a movie. Oh, what a movie. I've done my spoiler-free review, and I spoke about how the movie did such an amazing job taking you on an emotional journey. And I wonder if that's because I was like the core audience for this movie. Like, they really milked the nostalgia thing perfectly. Because I started watching this film, and Jason Reitman as director, he did such a brilliant job of, like, instantly, from the moment that the Sony logo comes up and you hear the twinkling of the piano keys, instantly you are just pulled back into whatever Ghostbusters means to you as an emotional experience. And for me, Ghostbusters was one of the first movies I ever saw that truly terrified me. It was one of the first movies I saw in which characters had flaws and authenticity in a way that wasn't often portrayed in the movies that I watched as a kid. It was such an iconic film from my childhood. A lot of people are surprised to hear that. They're like, oh, you grew up a posh little rich boy in Middle Hampshire. Why would you be so invested in Ghostbusters? But it was. Ghostbusters made me fall in love with New York City. It's one of the reasons I dreamed of coming to America one day, which I eventually was able to do. So Ghostbusters is a huge part of what I'm into. And then, yeah, from within seconds of the movie starting, you are dragged right back to being this wonder-filled 8-year-old staring at the screen going like, actually I was 6 when it came out. I don't think I saw it till I was like 8 or 10 or something, because I saw it on television or VHS. But I was like, oh, I was just a kid again. And what the movie does so well is the lead character, Phoebe, is this 12-year-old girl. So you see it through the eyes. You're feeling like a kid again, and then you're seeing this adventure through the eyes of a kid. And the wonderful thing about that is it's a very effective way to introduce new viewers to just how important the Ghostbusters mythos is. And Phoebe discovers the fact that her grandfather was Egon Spengler, the Ghostbuster, through watching YouTube videos and through learning about it, through things like that. And it's beautiful. It feels real. It feels authentic. It's so much better than the 2016 version where you do exposition dumps like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. They'd be whipping through a book being like, oh, this book says goes there. Yeah. The movie just made it feel like a journey of discovery. And that's the thing. This movie is a mystery story. And everything slowly creeps in, and it's paced so perfectly as you find out that Egon Spengler thought that the Gozerian was going to come back, and he abandoned his friends and went out to the middle of Oklahoma and built this crazy contraption. You slowly learn what this crazy contraption is. I think a lot of the stuff that I loved about the movie I explained best in my spoiler-free version, because a lot of it was emotionally driven. You know, the movie made you feel emotions really deeply. But when it comes to the spoiler parts of it, I think the things you got to talk about are towards the end of the movie, where the original Ghostbusters come back in. Like, Peter Venkman's like, did you miss us? And then you see the ghost of Egon Spengler, Harold Ramis, which is weird. I know my wife didn't like it that much. She thought it was kind of cheesy and hokey. I loved it. I thought it was just the right level of cheesy and hokiness. I think for this movie to have worked, you had to have the original Ghostbusters in there. And obviously you couldn't have Harold Ramis because he had passed away. And in some ways it was a really bold move to have him, a CGI version of him, featured so prominently in this movie. Yet at the same time, it like walked this impossible tightrope and just did it perfectly. And I will tell you, I was in floods of tears watching that scene. God, I'm like tearing up thinking about it. That scene where little Phoebe was using the proton pack to shoot Gozer, and then you saw that blue hand holding hers. And Harold Ramis like over her. Oh wow, like I'm like literally choking up thinking about that. When I saw that in the movie, I was like, oh. And the other scene that really got me was when the mum goes down to this secret basement and she finds the wall of pictures of her, and you could see, you know, she thought she had no relationship with her father, and then he had, his entire life, he tracked everything that she did because he loved her. And then I don't know, just moments like that was so powerful. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm just like that one person who reacted to it in that way, but I don't think watched a movie in years that made me feel quite so powerfully. Yeah. And it was weird. I know at the end it's all got a little cheesy and hokey, except I don't think you could have had it happen any other way. I don't think you could have. I would not have been satisfied if I've left the movie theatre without having the original Ghostbusters come back. I thought I was going to leave the movie theatre disappointed because obviously Harold Ramis, Egon Spengler, was my favourite character as a kid. It's the character I related to the most. I felt like I wasn't going to be satisfied leaving the theatre without seeing him, but I got to see him. And the scene where he hugged his daughter, yeah, you could just see the love and reverence that Jason Reitman and his father, Ivan Reitman, and the cast, and everyone had for what Ghostbusters was, and for their friend Harold Ramis. And it was really, really powerful to me. And it's funny, I'm ridiculous. I don't think I'm going to even post this video because I did not think when I'd started thinking about a scene from the movie I would actually start crying. Because I'm not a crier. Are you kidding me? I'm a stiff upper lip Brit. But yeah. So if you I don't know, this is meant to be the spoiler-filled review. If you want to know how good this movie is, then look at my face. That's how good this movie was. And that's how perfect it was. And I just loved every aspect of it. I loved the way they brought Janine back in at the very beginning. And she was so perfectly in character. Ernie Hudson was wonderful. And the ending scene where you find out that he's this businessman and he's been paying the rent on Ray's place. And you see that maybe the Ghostbusters is going to come again. That was beautiful. I met Ernie Hudson once. He tapped my shoulder like that. He's a really nice bloke. And that just felt great because, yeah, I've met Ernie Hudson once. He once tapped my shoulder just like that. I think I just told you that. But anyway, that means I feel really invested in him and the character and stuff. So to see where that was going was great. To see Sigourney Weaver back doing that little shtick with Bill Murray was wonderful. Sigourney Weaver still looks great. I mean, that's it. I know a lot of people criticise the original Ghostbusters as not having, it had two female characters in it. But Sigourney Weaver's character was brilliant. She was like a really richly written character. So I know she didn't appear in the rest of the movie, but to see her again was wonderful. I don't know. I feel like I kind of shot my bolt with all the things I can say about the spoilers and things. I don't really know. I'm just blown away by how emotionally impactful this movie was. And maybe it's because I'm the age that I am. Maybe it's because I'm into the things that I am. As a kid, I always really related to the character of Egon Spengler, though, because you could see in the movie he didn't quite know how to interact with people. And it's a beautiful thing about the character Phoebe, who's the protagonist of this. She also doesn't really know how to interact with people. And then me, growing up, I didn't really necessarily know how to interact with people. And in some ways, movies like Ghostbusters channel what it is you're feeling into a way that you can process it that you can't in the regular human experience. I think it's what makes art so powerful. And so I keep thinking that it's like maybe it was just me. Maybe it was just this movie was just written just for me. But I felt the same way about No Time to Die. I think it's just when something is written really well and done really well, it moves you on an emotional level. Anyway, my kids are arguing. Yeah. Okay, I'm back to wrap this up. There was a haunted pencil sharpener downstairs that was causing my kids to freak out. The pencil sharpener, they put the pencil in and it wouldn't stop. And they unplugged it and it wouldn't stop. Turns out they actually had unplugged the wrong thing, so there wasn't actually a ghost. But for a second it was almost like, oh my god, Ghostbusters in real life. Right, I'm not sure if I'll post this video because it was kind of embarrassing. But Ghostbusters Afterlife was a wonderful, wonderful movie. I really enjoyed it. If you haven't seen it, definitely go and see it. Even if you're not a fan of Ghostbusters, I think you'll enjoy it. And if you are a fan of Ghostbusters, I will catch up with you guys later. Ciao. Thanks so much for watching that video. Don't forget, I've sold nearly 67,000 copies of my novels. So if you want to find out a bit more about that, don't forget to click the subscribe button.